Grumpy Old Geeks, a weekly talk show hosted by Brian Schulmeister and Jason DeFilippo, discussing the finer points of what went wrong on the internet and who's to blame.
Welcome to Grumpy Old Geeks. I'm Jason DeFilippo.
And I'm Brian Schulmeister.
Happy 13th anniversary, Brian.
My God.
You know, Brian, when we started this show 13 fucking years ago, we started with the premise of making fun of people who taught other people how to make money on the internet.
Right.
And, you know, they were basically selling courses. This was the big thing that was hip at the time, which was selling courses.
How to make money on the internet.
On how to make money on the internet. Exactly. The Ouroboros of the grift. And I saw a headline this week that just cemented the fact that we are not getting any better as a species. We're getting worse. It's just we're sliding down the poop emoji of life. Oh. People are using AI to create influencers with Down syndrome who sell nudes. Yes.
Guess it's better than children.
Well, that's a different article. Yeah. And I think Sean Bonner kind of summed it up on Blue Sky when I posted this. He was just like, I didn't really know where this was going word for word until the end. It was just like, or however he put it, and I was reading it too. I'm like, okay, people who are using AI to create influencers. And then it went off the rails. I'm like, then it went with Down syndrome. And then I'm like, oh my God, what a horrible, who sell nudes. I just give up.
Yeah, it's not great.
So, a network of Instagram accounts is using AI to deepfake people's faces, altering them to appear as if they have Down syndrome, and then funneling viewers to adult content sites where they cash in. Now, these accounts steal videos from real creators, use AI tools to modify them, and link to the same pay-to-play adult platforms.
But Jason, they've got moderators for this, don't they?
No.
No, Instagram doesn't have, but they've got they've got AI moderators.
No, they don't.
Okay.
No.
Right.
Nope. Instagram, sleep at the wheel. No moderation, no crackdown, no accountability. No.
We're just a platform?
Just a platform.
Okay.
Baby, just a platform. It's all part of a despicable new industry called AI pimping, where these scumbags teach each other how to create fake influencers, automate engagement, and profit from the content. Yeah. This isn't the only one. There are other trends that include women with amputations. And yeah. Now here's the thing. I'm not here to yuck on somebody's yum. You know, there are obviously people out there who get off on this shit. So whatever, you know, your kink is your kink.
No. Well, I mean, I guess on the plus side, Jason, they've finally answered our question that we put out 13 years ago. How do you make money on the internet? Use AI generated Down syndrome people to sell nudes.
There we go. Okay.
Yeah. Question answered.
Well, the next article that I found really just kind of hammers home the point. Human intelligence sharply declining. Turns out it's not just your imagination. People are actually getting dumber. Okay. A wave of studies, including the University of Michigan's Monitoring the Future and international PISA tests, show significant drops in concentration, problem solving, and reasoning skills across teens and young adults and the elderly and everyone in between. And I think my dogs are even becoming cognitively impaired. Those markers are basically markers for intelligence. So the decline has been getting worse since the mid-2010s, well before the pandemic, but COVID-era disruptions clearly accelerated the slide.
I've got some good news on this front for you, Jason, actually, I suppose.
Okay.
Well,
hit me.
Now that Dodge has gotten rid of the Department of Education, we won't know anymore that we're getting dumber.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, so, bright side.
Well, a society that can't think critically or do basic math isn't just annoying, Brian. It's dangerous. And we are headed for a Brondo and electrolyte-filled future where ignorance is the norm.
It's also bad for us.
Yeah.
Less listeners.
Well, could have told you that. I know you don't look at the stats, but I do.
I don't, because I like to stay in a good mood every now and then.
I cry myself to sleep every night.
Well, I'm going to give a hat tip to Grumpy Jedi on our Discord for this one, although pretty much all of our listeners, all 5 of them, sent us this.
Yeah. The entire internet sent it to me, yes.
This is the Mark Rober, the YouTuber, who actually, after I watched this one, I went and looked at his page, and pretty cool stuff. Like, I'm not a big YouTuber guy, but I bookmarked him. So
yeah, no, he's really good. He's been around for a long time. Yeah,
he did the "Can You Fool a Self-Driving Car" video, where he took a Tesla, which does not use LiDAR, just cameras, and a car that uses LiDAR-based self-driving. And let's just say the Tesla did not do well.
No, which I fucking told you so.
Yeah, you've been saying this since day one.
Day one. The instant that they said that they're not going to use LiDAR and they're going to use cameras, I said, yeah, there are problems with that. A lot of them. So this guy has a bigger budget than we do. All I can afford to do is go, yeah, I fucking told you so. But he can afford to go out and crash a couple cars. So
yeah. So what really lured me into the video was the Disneyland part, which I particularly enjoyed. He snuck a little tiny LiDAR device into Space Mountain and the Haunted Mansion and a few other rides and mapped them out. And then he uses army of 3D printers. He had like 20 of them lined up to print out the actual track for Space Mountain and make a little car. And that was great. I loved it. But the whole thing was, I sent this to, I have a good friend that's been an Elon Musk apologist, not so much anymore, but for quite a long time, and owns a Tesla. And I was like, so what you think about this video? He's like, yeah, I might have to get rid of the Tesla.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You can't right now.
I have so many friends who want to sell their Teslas. They're just getting so much shit from people. And they're like, we can't sell it. You know, they're underwater on it. It's Hollywood. Nobody has any money anymore. Everybody's broke and just barely making by. So they can't get rid of it. And they're just like, yeah, so stop being mean to us. We bought it when he was still cool, you know?
I saw a whole article about people that have taken logos from other car manufacturers and put it on. I'm like, it's still a Tesla. You can tell.
Yeah, that's been going around for a couple of years. And it's like, you're not fooling anybody. But I think you just need to get the sticker that said I bought it before he was a dick. You know?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Nobody's gonna. Well, people shouldn't give you shit for that. So
no, but this thing that still scratch my head every day, and I see it at least once a week, a Cybertruck with new dealer plates. I'm just like, okay, that's it. You're done. You're done.
Well, I've got a story about the people that have been buying those.
Do tell, Brian. Do tell.
If you just rolled off the lot with your shiny new Cybertruck, thus informing the village that you're the biggest asshole in it, you're going to have to take it right back. Tesla is recalling more than 46,000 Cybertrucks due to a potential safety issue. According to a filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, the armored vehicle's cant rail, a cosmetic exterior trim panel, also should be can't self-drive.
Yeah.
Just saying, could detach from the truck, potentially leading to injury or a collision. Now, why could it detach from the truck? Because they fucking glued it on.
Yeah.
And didn't test the glue for environment.
Yeah. Just like they didn't test the headlights for snow.
Yes. This recall covers all 46,096 Cybertrucks manufactured between November 13th, 2023 and February 27th, 2025. Given that the vehicle launched in late 2023, that is basically just about, well, all of them.
Yeah.
Since Tesla began deliveries of its unusual pickup truck, the Cybertruck has been plagued by manufacturing problems and quality issues. Now, Jason, if you had not read the notes that I put in here and had to guess the number of recalls the Cybertruck has had in 2 years,
okay,
what would you say?
4.
9.
Holy shit. 9 times.
9 recalls in 2 years for this pile of shit.
Nice. Okay. That's impressive. That's very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, the glue for the Cybertruck is the not using LiDAR of the Teslas. So I would like to point out, though, if you are thinking about vandalizing a Cybertruck or a Tesla, you just don't, because they do have Sentry mode also. I mean, don't fuck with a Tesla just because of what I just said. But Cybertrucks, I am all for fucking with Cybertrucks and Cybertruck owners, but you're probably going to get caught because they do have quote unquote Sentry mode, which is they're filming all the time. Although there is some funny YouTube videos about how the video fills up pretty quickly and the battery drains and you could be bricking your Cybertruck by using Sentry mode, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, but still, just don't fuck with somebody's Tesla. Make fun of them if they have a Cybertruck all day long. All day long. And the dealerships have at, Tesla takedowns every weekend. There's 500 of them going on.
I'm 100% for that. You have every right to go ahead and do a protest in front of a Tesla dealership. I only wish that there were Tesla dealerships on every single middle school and elementary school and high school across the country, because they get protected better than schools do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And to that point, Brian, I do have to roll back something I said last week, because I think I've changed my mind on something.
Okay.
I said that
severance sucks again.
Well, we'll talk about that later. I was saying that, Elon is sacrificing his pawn for his power, and he doesn't care about Tesla. Everything that's been happening in the news has led me to believe that actually Tesla is very important to him.
Well, it's because the majority of his wealth is wrapped into Tesla stock.
Yeah, and I think that he was hoping that it wouldn't go down as fast as it's going, or there wouldn't be such a blowback. But the fact that he's trying to protect the value of Tesla so hard right now, to the fact that they're doing infomercials on the White House lawn and all that stuff, makes me think that Tesla is actually fairly important to them. So double down on your protests. That's all I'm saying.
Let's drive that stock down.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is still massively overvalued. So we've got a ways to go. Now, I do have a quick recall story, because Cybertrucks are not the only trucks that have recalls, Yep. This is just a funny anecdote from yesterday. My roommate's Bronco would not start. So I'm like, okay, it seems like the battery's dead, whatever. I went out and took my little battery starter jumper that I got from Amazon for $50. Those things are amazing, by the way. If you don't have like a battery powered car jumper in your car for all time, get one. They're like
got one in the back of my car.
They're amazing. Fuck jumper cables. These things, that's the way to go. Just make sure you charge it every 6 months. So I went out, I charged it up a bit, and it started. Went on for merry way. I'm like, go to the tire store down the street, go to Hank's Tires in the valley. By the way, if you ever need tires or batteries or car stuff, go to Hank's Tires. They're awesome.
If you're in the valley.
If you're in the
so
valley.
Many of our listeners are right there.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's by Ventura and Winnetka. It's awesome. So they get there, they test the battery, like, the battery's fine. So she's like, okay, I'm driving. She starts driving home. And she gets to the corner of DeSoto and Ventura, and the car dies in the middle of the road. Middle lane, Ventura Boulevard, middle of the day. So I get a panicked phone call. Like, I'm stuck in the middle of the road. I got called AAA. Help. So I have a cone, a big orange cone that Spectrum left in my backyard one time when they were screwing around with the telephone pole. So I grabbed that, threw it in the Jeep, get out there, pull behind her, put the cone out, put my blinkers on, and we wait out for the tow truck. And I have to say, everybody in the valley who was nice and stopped and asked if we needed help, it was all the Persian folks. They were all like, hey, you need some help, my friend. You need some help. Everybody was awesome. We got like 5 people asking if we needed help, all Persian, and one British guy who was just funny as shit. He was awesome. So thank you to all of you. All the white people were flipping us off. So fuck you, whiteys. Anyway, so we're sitting there, and she pulls out her purse, and she's got all these papers, and she pulls out this stack of papers, and she says, I wonder if this is related to this recall notice I got. And I look at it, I pull it out, and I read what the recall is, and pretty much word for word what was wrong with her car.
Awesome.
And I'm like, when did you get this? And I look at the date, June 2024. The fact she had been driving around for 9 months with the recall notice in her purse, saying maybe I should take care of this one day. But those recalls, they don't really matter very much. It's like 1 in a million that you're going to get hit with it. Perhaps
we should reference your earlier story. Human intelligence is sharply declining.
No, she's just a girl. Girls and recalls and cars. But we had a good laugh over it. But so if you have a Cybertruck, go get it taken care of, because recalls that get past the NHTSA's, firewall
they're legit. Yeah.
They're legit, because no car manufacturer ever wants to have a recall. Just go watch Fight Club if you want the math on it. So it's important that when you do get a recall, you go take care of it.
And if you happen to be a Cybertruck owner, you've got 9 of them.
9 of them. So yeah. Head on back to that dealership if you can get past the protesters.
In the news,
a contractor for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, which has been in the news an awful lot lately, and many other U.S. government agencies, has developed a tool that lets analysts more easily pull a target's individual's publicly available data from a wide array of sites, social networks, apps, and services across the web at once, including Blue Sky, OnlyFans, and various meta platforms, according to a leaked list of the sites obtained by 404 Media. The list names more than 200 sites that the contractor, called Shadow Dragon, pulls data from, sends immediately to CatTurd2 on X, and makes available to its government clients, allowing them to map out a person's activity, movements, and relationships. This news comes after ICE detained Mohammed Kali, a prominent Columbia University protester and green card holding legal permanent resident of the U.S., on Saturday with the intention of deporting him. It also comes as Secretary of State Marco Rubio is reportedly launching an AI-fueled catch and revoke effort to scan the social media accounts for tens of thousands of student visa holders' social media accounts looking for what Axios reported as foreign nationals who appear to support Hamas or other designated terror groups. There's been no better time not to post shit on social media.
Yep, no doubt.
Yep. They are trawling everything now. So use those encrypted personal messaging platforms that you may be aware of that don't come from China.
Yeah.
Or Meta.
Or anywhere.
Or
for that matter.
Anywhere, really. Just write notes.
Yeah. Post-its. That's the way to go now. Get some pigeons. Maybe we'll get some carrier pigeon net. Or sneaker net, as we used to call it.
Yes.
Sneaker net. All right. The U.S. government is scrambling to reinstate over 130 cybersecurity workers unlawfully fired by the Trump administration. A federal judge ruled the mass layoffs at CISA and other agencies violated employment laws, forcing their return. CISA is now urgently trying to contact those affected, but admits it doesn't have full records of who was fired. The agency is asking former employees to send personal details via email to verify their status. So this is a follow-up to the story we talked about last week about the firings over at CISA. Now, the fact that they don't have records on everybody that was fired is troubling. Maybe they should just get a LinkedIn Pro subscription. Maybe Doge will let that pass because I'm sure he's friends with Reid Hoffman at some point. Or I don't know, is Reid on the red side or the blue side nowadays? Hard to tell with the billionaires over there, but who knows? But that's just, come on, get your shit together, guys.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. And a little pro tip to everybody out there that has a job at the moment. If you do get let go or if you quit or whatever, for any reason you leave a job, go to your human resources department and absolutely make sure that they have contact info for you, such as your personal email address, your personal cell phone, whatever, because you'll be shocked and surprised to hear how often something like your tax documents will not be sent to you the next year because they have no idea how to contact you because they're idiots.
Oh, that killed me one year. It was a tax document for $26,000. I ended up owing $26,000 in taxes because they couldn't get me my tax document. And by the time I figured this all out, the company had disbanded and nobody knew where the records were anymore. And I ended up having to pay $26,000 for that problem. So absolutely do that. Brian,
make sure you do that.
Good fucking tip.
Yep.
Good tip.
Evan Feinman, who directed the $42.5 billion Broadband Equity Access and Deployment, or BEAD, these people, program meant to bring high-speed internet access to rural areas, has exited the role as of last week after he was not reappointed for a new term, according to ProPublica's Craig Silverman. In an email sent to staffers, which Silverman shared screenshots of on Blue Sky, Feinman warned against changes proposed by the new administration that could benefit technology that delivers slower speeds at higher costs to the household paying the bill in order to line Elon Musk's pockets. Yes, because they are supposedly switching over to Starlink. Because
from fiber.
Government efficiency, slower, higher cost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Good luck out there in rural America.
Yeah, the whole Starlink thing is
Also, those satellites keep fucking falling out of the sky.
Oh, good. Well, that's it. That's actually an upside.
Well, he keeps replacing them.
That's the downside.
Yeah,
but the other downside is, everybody else is seeing that, there's a market for space-based internet. So everybody's spinning up their companies, except that the problem with that is it's just the same fucking billionaires. Bezos is working up for his Amazon, penis rocket space internet thing. So who the fuck knows? There's no winner here. Can we get back to cables?
Stay out of space. Lay a goddamn cable.
Yeah, I miss a series of tubes. The internet always needs to be a series of tubes.
Agreed.
Not wormholes. A judge has rejected Elon Musk's latest legal maneuver against OpenAI, shutting down his request for a preliminary injunction and dismissing several of his claims entirely. The lawsuit, which OpenAI calls a self-serving attempt to slow them down, stems from Musk's failed attempt to merge OpenAI's for-profit arm into Tesla. Court filings show Musk left OpenAI after losing control and later launched his own AI company, XAI, while simultaneously suing OpenAI for evolving its structure. So the courts are smelling what the Elon is cooking, and they're saying, we ain't having it.
That's right. Good.
Everything that Elon has done when it comes to AI. Remember the open letter to whoever the fuck it was to, where all the people said, we need to slow down on AI development. And Elon signed it. He was behind it. He signed it and said, for the sake of humanity, we need to slow down. And we said that's bullshit. He's just trying to slow down the competition. And 100% right on that.
Yep.
Nothing he has done has shown that he is scared of AI in any way, shape, or form. Nope. So another lie from the Muscovites.
Shocking. Well, and there's been some lies everywhere involved with AI, as we know. There's a really great article over on The Atlantic, The Unbelievable Scale of AI's Pirated Books Problem. Now, this has come to light thanks to that lawsuit from Sarah Silverman and a bunch of other people saying that, you trained all your data on our copywritten material without asking us, getting permission, or paying us. So there's I love this article. I didn't realize how involved it all got. So it says, when employees at Meta started developing their flagship AI model, Llama 3, they faced a simple ethical question. And I agree, it is a simple ethical question. Mm-hmm. The program would need to be trained on a huge amount of high-quality writing to be competitive with products such as ChatGPT, and acquiring all that text legally could take time. Should they just pirate it instead? What is the ethical answer to that, Jason?
Move fast and break things. So yes, it is a simple yes.
Well, that's what they did, but that's definitely not the ethical answer. The ethical answer is no. Meta employees spoke with multiple companies about licensing books and research papers, but they weren't thrilled with their options. Let's keep in mind that Meta is one of the biggest companies in the world with an incredibly large amount of free cash laying around. But licensing some books seems unreasonably expensive, wrote one research scientist in an internal company chat in reference to one potential deal, according to court records. A Llama team senior manager added that this would be an incredibly slow process. They take like 4+ weeks to deliver data.
Oh, 4+ weeks! Weeks!
Oh, no.
That's incredibly slow. Yep. Wow.
In a message found in yet another legal filing, a director of engineering noted another downside to this approach, and this is the one that's the real kicker for me and tells me that they are just fucking evil. The problem is that people don't realize that if we license one single book, we won't be able to lean into the fair use strategy.
Right.
So basically, if we pay anyone, we'll have to pay everybody.
Yep. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. So they basically use Library Genesis, or LibGen, one of the largest of the pirated libraries that circulate online. It currently contains more than 7.5 million books and 81 million research papers. Now, the reporter over at The Atlantic actually put it into a damn database, and you can search it and find everything that's in there, which is pretty amazing. I had a little fun with that. I checked out Stephen King, and of course, all of the Gunslinger series is in there, The Dark Tower. Which means Blame the Mono is apparently AI canon.
Okay.
And if you remember Blame the Mono, not good.
Okay. I don't, but I take your word for it. Your word for it. No, that's, yeah. So,
So the lawsuit is ongoing, but all this stuff is coming to light. And yeah, it was going to be too expensive for them. It's not. They can afford it. And it would take too much time, up to almost a month. And so they just said, fuck it, we're going to steal everything.
Yeah. So we've got some other legal news on this. California lawmakers are debating Assembly Bill 412, a new proposal that would force AI developers to identify every registered copyrighted work used in training their models. Sounds fair on paper, but critics say it's a death sentence for small developers. The bill would require even tiny startups or hobbyists working out of their garage to track content in a system so outdated, it's basically a digital card catalog. But big tech, well, they've got the lawyers and the cash to deal with it. But the little guys, for them, AB 412 means endless compliance headaches, legal risks, and no time left to actually build anything. And here's the kicker. Copyright law is federal. So a state-level attempt to regulate it could get tossed out in court anyway. And if AB 412 passes, it won't stop AI. It'll just hand the keys to big tech, which we know don't give a shit anyway. Listen to the previous article that we just talked about. It's regulation that looks good on headlines, but just kills the competition. So, and
but call me crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
But fuck you and your competition if you're doing it and it's illegal. That's like saying, well, we can't keep putting these smaller criminals in jail because the bigger criminals have better lawyers. But so let's just not put anybody in jail.
No, the whole point is it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time.
Well, I agree with that.
On
but
every,
I disagree with the premise.
Oh, I don't disagree with the premise at all. I disagree. I disagree that California shouldn't be dealing with this because copyright is federal.
Oh yeah, 100%. 100% agree with that. But it's just such a stupid, like, we can't do this because of the little guy. You're what? Oh, stop it. Just neither the big guy and the little guy shouldn't be doing it.
Well, let me get to my next article, Brian.
Okay.
OpenAI is pushing for Donald Trump's upcoming AI action plan to classify AI training on copyrighted works as fair use, claiming it's essential for U.S. national security and AI dominance over China. That's right. OpenAI argues AI doesn't copy, but learns patterns to create new content. Fuck you. To avoid legal setbacks, OpenAI wants federal protection from state and international copyright laws and liability shields for AI companies. If AI companies lose fair use protections, U.S. innovation could slow while China surges ahead. But if OpenAI gets its way, creators might lose control over their work to corporate AI giants. And to that I say, might lose control? No, they've already lost control. That's why there's lawsuits about this. It's a very simple premise here, guys. Your AI is illegal, period. Well, what you train it on is illegal as it currently stands.
Again, though, should we be surprised by this, I would like to remind all our listeners right now that Pinterest exists still and is actually worth $21.8 billion.
Yeah.
A company that entirely exists on ripping off copyright.
Yeah, completely because of copyright theft at an unimaginable scale.
So we have kind of decided that we don't give a shit.
I know. I should I should get back on that lawsuit train. I made some decent money off of going after people who stole my photos for a while, but I don't even know if you can do that anymore.
It's fair use now, Jason. Fair use.
Yeah, I'm glad my entire life's work is fair use. That's great. Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, here's another little note for the nail in Tesla's coffin. Just let's end on a high note. China's EV giant BYD unveiled a 1,000-volt Super E platform that claims to add 12 miles of range in just 10 seconds. That's faster than filling your gas tank and leaves Tesla's chargers looking like dial-up. The catch? It only works on 2 brand new models, and it's China only for now. And yeah, your mileage may vary depending on conditions like snow and communist roadblocks and things like that.
I don't know. I seem to remember a period of time when all those Chinese made hoverboards were catching fire on airplanes.
That's true too. That's true. But I don't think Temu put out the this new supercharger. Yeah, if you have the supercharger by Temu, then baby, just go to the next station. But this is pretty big news if they can pull it off. So
U.S. companies might have to fair use the plans from that.
Media Candy.
I got a little follow-up, Brian, on White Trash Wins Lotto, the musical that we've talked about on the show many times. Mm-hmm. There's a wonderful, wonderful interview with the writer and creator of White Trash Wins Lotto, Andy Preboy, on YouTube that he did after the release, and I highly recommend checking it out if you've had a chance to check out the musical. It is a phenomenal interview. Andy kills it. And if you haven't heard the musical yet, there's a link in the show notes. If you want a good chuckle, that's what it is. It's a musical about young Axl Rose coming to Hollywood for fame and fortune, and it is fucking hysterical.
It was a blast. I do remember going with you to see it a long time ago.
25 years ago, Brian. 25 years.
Well, if he ever takes it on tour again, there's a new tool from Spotify that'll let you know. I actually think this is kind of, even though I've transitioned away from Spotify, I like this. I think this is great. They now have custom playlists, which will highlight artists with upcoming shows in your area, which is fantastic. Mm-hmm. So concerts near you will update every Wednesday with 30 songs from artists that align with your interests and are playing close to you. Tapping on a track will reveal details about the relevant show, as well as links to buy tickets. You'll be able to share this playlist and any event info with friends to see if any shows catch their interest. This is fantastic. I mean, I don't even know how to find concerts anymore. We've lost, music newspapers and things of that nature. I remember I used to get the LA Weekly every week and scan the concert listings to see what was coming up. Of course, that's when concerts, were announced and you could buy tickets about like a month or two ahead of time instead of the fucking 5 years that you have to do it these days.
Yeah.
But I think this is a great, smart little thing that they're rolling out. I'm going to have to check it out.
And I was wondering about how they get your location data. You need to go to the live event section of the app.
Yes.
And then you can set your location there. That's where they get that location info from. I'm like, Are they just following me where I'm at? They're like, hey, around the corner, the Wonder Stuff's having a reunion show. Go see it. Like, oh, shit.
Actually, they are, but it's only in England. And, everything follows you around these days. It's shocking to me that Spotify actually put in something where you'd have to actually do it yourself instead of just, we're going to take all your information.
Yeah, we're just going to ping wherever you're at right now.
Yeah.
I saw this one, Brian, and I thought of you. Musical mashup maker William Maratny created this curious remix of Hootie and the Blowfish singing their two hits, I Only Want to Be With You and Hold My Hand, to the music of the Smiths' Cemetery Gates. I thought it was pretty good.
Well, you know what? What it does is it really solidified for me that much of the genius of the Smiths, and no offense to Morrissey fans, much of the genius of the Smiths was Mar and the music. It even makes Hootie sound all right.
Yeah, it does.
Because the music from the Smiths is just phenomenal.
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. And unfortunately, I saw this. There's a new trailer out for the movie Ballerina from the world of John Wick. Yes, a new trailer for Ballerina came out starring Ana de Armas as a vengeance-fueled assassin named Eve. Now, I like her. She's cute.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. The problem is I don't see her as an action hero because I watched the trailer and, not really buying it.
Kind of needs Charlize Theron or something.
Yeah. Somebody with just a little bit more substance.
Some definition in their arms.
Yeah, kind of. And, this kind of looks like an AI version of any of the John Wick movies where they just cut and pasted her face on John Wick. Because the actions are the same. It's the same fucking movie. The only interesting bit is that John Wick shows up himself. Since it's a prequel, it kind of happened in that time in between the movies. Because all the good characters are back then, like everybody's dead in the future. So let's go back to when everybody was still cool and try and make some movies out of that, except everybody gets older. But I don't know. I'll watch it on late night TV, I'm sure, because the John Wick movies were awesome. So
okay.
You just got to be in the mood for the ultra violence.
Right. I've got a quick rundown of a bunch of stuff that I happened to catch this week. First up,
speaking of ultra violence,
Moana 2. I never got to see that. My wife and kid went over the Christmas break to go see it in theaters, but it finally dropped on Disney Plus. So we all watched it this last week. I was a bit worried because I'd read all the articles saying, it was going to be a series, and then they decided to just turn it into a movie. So it's a bit cut and paste. And I can see some of that, but at the end of the day, it was still great. Like, it was a good, fun movie. Like, I liked it. They left it open for more. I hope that they do another one at some point, but actually just focus on making it a movie. It does suffer a bit from Hamilton guy. What's his name? Lin-Manuel Miranda. Did not do the songs for this one. He did the songs for the first movie. So the songs aren't quite as good, but still a lot of fun. I have caught up with Mythic Quest, which is now on season 4. And I have to say, much like Silicon Valley, it was enjoyable as a premise. And as they've stretched it out and tried to make an actual story and make you care about the characters, it is definitely suffering. Season 1 was a blast, and I'm rapidly losing interest.
Rapidly by making it all the way to season 4, you mean?
Well,
that's not rapidly, Brian. That's a slow decline into madness.
It's because I've been binging it. If this was like a once a week thing, I would have forgotten about it a long time ago.
Yeah.
And speaking of once a week thing, we had new episodes of The White Lotus. Very good.
I like it. We actually went back and watched seasons 1 and 2 of The White Lotus last week.
Right.
Because just to get caught up, because there's nothing else on.
And, part of the reason I've watched so much Mythic Quest.
Yeah. But it was fun to catch up on. Season 2 is definitely slower than I remembered, but it caught up at the end. There's going to be more episodes of this season of White Lotus than any other season. And apparently they've already started casting for season 4.
Of course.
For White Lotus.
Yeah.
So I thought this was supposed to be the end, but I guess ka-ching, when the register sings, you got to keep going.
For me, that show is less about the actual plot and what goes on and more about the cinematography and travel lust. Like, it's beautifully shot in these amazing locations, which I'll take more of that. Yeah.
And Sam, what's his name in this
oh my
last
God.
episode? Sam Rockwell. That was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my life. It was so
hilarious.
Good.
So good.
So good.
So uncomfortable.
Oh, it was great. Just the Walton Goggins facial expressions as he's taking it all in was just, oh my God, the memes, Brian, the memes.
Oh, do it for the memes. Yes.
Yeah.
Also watched the latest Daredevil. Good.
Caught that last night. Yep. Nice to see Punisher back, even if only for a small cameo. It's good.
Yep.
It's good.
That's good. It was good. And I somehow completely missed out on the fact that the Wheel of Time season 3 had dropped a little while ago.
You don't have a Fire TV, Brian. You need a Fire TV because you can't boot up with them telling you 17 times that the Wheel of Time season 3 is out.
I do not have a Fire TV, so I did not get any of those ads whatsoever. So I was quite happy to discover, because I never launched Prime for anything, Prime Video, but I did for some reason. I was like, oh, hey, Wheel of Time's back. So I've caught up on that. I'm enjoying it. This is one of the rare sci-fi / fantasy series that has come out that I have not read the books for. So I'm certain I'm missing a lot of the nuance, and there are things that were probably extremely important that just kind of blew past me. But it's fun. It's well shot. It's like a budget Lord of the Rings.
Okay. So remember that when you talk to people about Foundation, because you didn't read you like this one. Maybe have you heard about people who read the books on this and hate this show? Because maybe we have a reverse Foundation thing going on here.
Could be.
Yeah.
And Max is continuing its assault on animation. 255 classic Looney Tunes shorts that survived the Warner Brothers Discovery-owned streaming service's last purge in 2022 have been taken down, meaning that the entirety of the original 511-episode Looney Tunes library is no longer available on the platform or anywhere else. So they're just getting rid of this stuff left, right, and center. And I kind of understand it. It's like my kid has zero interest in the Looney Tunes. Doesn't care.
It doesn't cost them that much to keep it up there. I want to put David Zaslav in a Cybertruck and set it on fire. I'm sorry. Yeah. This guy just pisses me off.
Yeah, there's just so much stuff that's being pulled. It's crazy. Put it somewhere, for God's sake. And then Ivan wrote in, this will make it easier for Brian to watch the Dodgers from Snow, Mexico, meaning Canada. Spectrum is finally offering
I've never heard Snow, Mexico. I like that.
It's pretty funny. I wish we had better tacos if we were actually Snow, Mexico, but we do not. Spectrum is finally offering a streaming-only subscription for the Dodgers. For the first time this season, Dodgers fans can stream Sportsnet LA without needing to buy something else they might not want. Spectrum is offering a streaming-only subscription to the Dodgers television channel for $29.99 per month or $199.99 per year, the company announced on Monday. The streaming subscription includes live and archive games, pregame, postgame, now postseason, and off-season coverage and additional programs such as Backstage Dodgers, although Sportsnet LA cut back on such programming last year. The biggest problem with this has been for bars, because most bars have satellite like DirecTV or whatever, and so no bar in LA has ever had the Dodgers games. So this might help them if they want to pony up $200 a year to have Dodgers games. But let me go off on a rant here about how bullshit sports subscriptions are specific to this. Now, first, I can pay more for just Dodgers games, or I could subscribe to MLB.tv and get all Major League Baseball games for less money, $149.99 per year, as opposed to $199 for just the Dodgers games. Now, technically, this has local blackouts, but that's what VPNs are for. So pay less and get MLB, and you can watch other games too.
And go to gog.show/VPN.
Yes. Secondly, postseason coverage does not mean postseason games. I don't know what it means. I guess it means talking heads talking about the game after it happened, because all postseason games are usually given to networks like Fox or TNT or TBS. So you won't get those with this Spectrum or MLB TV subscriptions. You will still need access to Fox, TBS, TNT, or wherever happens to have the rights for all those postseason games. And don't get me started on the nightmare that is international soccer and the various national leagues and competitions and international competitions. You basically have to buy fucking everything to watch games.
Go read a book, Brian.
Or just pirate it.
Yeah, there's that too.
Damn it. That's what I do.
Shh. 4 people listen to this. Somebody with authority might come get you. Oh, wait, there's nobody with authority anymore.
Yes, it's fair use, Jason.
Fair use.
I am fair using my international football obsessions.
You're just consuming it for the patterns, not for the content.
That's right. I'm watching the pattern of the ball moving across the screen. That's all.
It's fair use, exactly. What shouldn't be fair use, though, is Starship Troopers, because it looks like Neill Blomkamp is working on a remake. Now, Starship Troopers for me is one of those almost perfect movies, and it should never be touched. I love that movie. You either love it or you hate it. It's one of there's no middle ground with Starship Troopers. Either you get it or you don't. And I get it. I love it. So no, goddammit, no. Leave your hands off of this one, Neill. It's like another Crow remake.
We're the bad guys. Spoiler alert.
And Neill, District 10. Where the fuck is District 10? District 9, your coming out moment, was one of the best movies that has been around for the last 20 years. It was phenomenal. Everybody wants District 10.
It was original. It was great.
It was so good. And some of the other movies that he's made are just phenomenal. Don't go back to Starship Troopers. Give me District 10, please.
Yep. Starship Troopers is just fine as it is.
Oh, it's perfect. Absolutely perfect. Hey, here, Neill, if you want a job, go work with Mark Cuban, because he posted the dumbest fucking video that has ever been created to Blue Sky. So I don't know if you've seen the video, Brian.
No.
Don't. Okay. I put a link in the show notes. If anybody sends you, I'm not even going to read what it's about. It's this weird Mogonian nightmare creation AI slop thing. If anybody says, "Oh, you got to go check out this video," don't. That's it. I'm just going to tell you right now, save your 3 minutes, saved you a click, just stay away from it. Mark Cuban has gone down some crazy madness road, but it's really not good. It's really bad, really bad.
All right. John writes in, "Stubborn old geeks, you guys are funny with your doubling down against Severance. The brilliant show you admit you haven't even watched enough to know if you'd like it, according to the study you yourselves reported on. I certainly don't work for Apple or any company with any interest in Severance. Oh well, your loss. I'm amused that you feel compelled the next week to cite articles from a couple of authors who have been critical of the show's pace or other aspects of it. Did you really think the show was worthwhile? Only if 100% of critics loved it? There are countless people on this planet who somehow don't like the Beatles. Haagen-Dazs spelled incorrectly, ice cream, authentic New York pizza, etc. I still love the GOG podcast, even if I am convinced you have questionable taste in media. I'm sure you are excited for another saccharine sweet season of Ted Lasso and Juno Temple's scary teeth, heroin addict-looking face, and creepy pulsating forehead vein. Different strokes. Stay grumpy and stubborn." John, you probably could have done this without personally attacking an actress. I'm gonna say,
yeah,
that bit kind of sucks. I mean, it's right. Yeah. Anyways, whatever.
Yeah, okay. Here's the thing that's been pissing me off for the past 3 weeks or 4 weeks since we first fucking mentioned Severance. Nobody listens to the words that come out of our mouths, apparently, because
only that we don't like Severance. That's all they hear.
And they say that we've never watched it. I watched the entire first season of Severance. I went back last week and watched the entire fucking thing again to make sure I didn't miss something. And nope, it was the same fucking show. Still fucking boring. Could have been.
I watched the first episode. I could tell it right then and there. Not into this.
Look, it's decent, but you could tell this wasn't even from a novel. This wasn't even from a short story. This is a short idea that some guy came up with on the crapper when he was.
No, this is literally the cocktail napkin sketch. That's what happened with this.
Yes, it is way too overdrawn for what it is. I get it. You like it. I started watching season 2. I'm 3 episodes into season 2, and I fell asleep halfway through episode 3 because it was so fucking boring. Look, it's decent. Leave me the fuck alone. We have watched the show. I just don't like it. That's all. I don't even like Ted Lasso. We shit on Ted Lasso. Everybody thinks that we're all gung-ho for Ted Lasso. What the fuck? Listen to the words that come out of our mouths. And I don't like the Beatles either. Or Haagen-Dazs. So yeah, what? What's your fucking point? And Chicago pizza is better. Not the deep dish, the thin crust. Fuck New York pizza.
Beatles are pretty good, though.
Ups and doodads.
Apple is facing a federal lawsuit over claims it falsely advertised its Apple Intelligence features for the iPhone 16. The lawsuit argues Apple misled consumers by heavily promoting AI features like a more personalized Siri, which was later delayed. And Apple pulled some ads, but hasn't fully addressed the marketing claims, leaving buyers with devices that lack promised features. The case, filed in San Jose, seeks damages for affected customers. The lawsuit says that the promotion of Apple Intelligence features, quote, drove unprecedented excitement, end quote, as Apple aimed to, quote, convince consumers to upgrade at a premium price point, quote. No, it didn't. It did not drive unprecedented excitement. All I heard from anybody that watched an AI commercial about Apple said, no, we don't want that. We don't care about that. Exactly. I want the new camera.
It absolutely did not drive excitement at all.
No, good luck with that lawsuit. Everybody upgrades their phone for the fucking camera. Get over it. Yep. Nobody wants that fucking AI shit.
I turned it off. Everybody does.
Yep, instantly. Another update this week, though. Mac Whisper Pro has updated. After 2 years, we finally released our most requested feature, automated speaker recognition in Mac Whisper 12. If you're a Pro user and you use a WhisperKit model from the Manage Models screen, the app will now automatically group your transcript by speaker. Great for interviews and podcasts, blah, 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 blah. It's a great start, but I can't edit the transcripts in line, so boo. You give me nice things and I still shit on it. But
that's right.
Yeah, I wish you could edit the because it's close, but it's not totally there yet. It's just about as good as Otter at this point. So that means the last line is usually shifted a little bit, and all I want to do is just do fine tuning on it, and it would be perfect. The Whisper transcription is great. A Mac Whisper Pro subscription or the price point is phenomenal. It's a great piece of software. So they're almost there. They're almost there.
Yep.
Now, the big kerfuffle this week, Amazon Echo users will no longer have the option to process their Alexa requests locally, which means all of their voice recordings will be sent to the company's cloud. And the world shit a brick over this one.
What are you asking your Echo that you're so worried about? That like all they're going to get from me is me requesting it to start playing music and what time is it and set a timer. That's it.
Well, everybody's worried that the thing's always recording. So everything that you say gets sent up to it.
I mean, that could be true, but they're definitely hiding that then, because right now you can go see every single voice recording through their app or through their website. I can't remember which. So they're either lying about that or they're not doing that.
Well, I mean, there's been several high-profile court cases where the thing was tripped, and there are recordings of people getting murdered and shit like that. So There are some exceptions to the rule on how much stuff is being recorded and sent off. Because remember, it's always listening. It's listening for the trigger word. Yeah. So it could be literally sending everything up, or at least the first 30 seconds before the trigger word and the 30 seconds after you stop. Yeah. You just don't know.
Yeah.
That list is a curated list. Let's just say that,
It would be nice if they were transparent about it.
Fuck you.
I know. But the thing for me, what bothers me more about it is just it's getting worse. Like it's horrible. Like I'm going to probably not get another Echo when it becomes time. I'm going to switch to something else because it's just bad. It doesn't understand anything anymore.
Well, have you tried the new Echo Plus?
Well, no, because you have to buy a new device yet. For that.
Yeah, see, and you have to pay $20 a month or some shit.
Yeah,
like
not going to do any of that. So
yeah.
Something else I'm not going to do is get a Roku.
Yep.
Roku has begun running video ads on your device that you bought and paid for that automatically play before loading the home screen, as reported by Ars Technica. This is impacting owners of Roku-branded smart TVs that you purchased and streaming sticks that you purchased and continue to subscribe to, so long as the device runs through the company's proprietary OS. It is worth noting that Roku users already see commercials on the home screen itself.
Yep, we do.
Bullshit.
I've got 3 Roku TVs. I know all about this. Yes.
Yes. Say they have confirmed the new ad placement, but say it's just a test.
Yeah. Fortunately, this is not rolled out broadly. I can tell you from the Roku TVs that I have, I checked. When you go to the home screen, basically what the only reason I need to go to the home screen is so I can get to my Apple TV because the Roku OS is shit. So I go to switch input devices, and on the inputs, there's an ad on the right third of the home screen is an ad. And sometimes they change the background. If somebody like buys a whole takeover, they can theme the OS to be Moana 2 or whatever.
Right.
So it's obnoxious.
Well, they consider it a feature, not a bug. Let me read this finely crafted piece of horse manure here. Our business has and will always require continuous testing and innovation across design, navigation, content, and our first-rate advertising products, the statement read. Yes, because I purchased your device for your advertising products. Give it to me for fucking free then. Our recent test is just the latest example as we explore new ways to showcase brands and programming while still providing a delightful and simple user interface.
Bullshit.
What a load of shit. Andre wrote in, hello, Andre. Hey guys, okay, just returning to the Mac world. Need some advice on apps you guys recommend. Mac Cleaner for getting rid of unwanted apps and cleaning up Drive. Browser. Jason, you talk about a package of apps you bought that was a lot cheaper than a lot of individual apps. What was that, please? Take it away, Jason.
It's called SetApp, and there's a link in the show notes. And yes, that is an affiliate link, so please go click on that so we get $1. We need that $1 desperately.
Yes, we do.
And once you get that, you want to get Clean My Mac, you want to get Bartender, you want to get iStat menus, you want to get Downy. There's a million things on there you want to get. I will put up a list this week and put it in the show notes of all the good stuff that you can get. But yeah, I live and die by SetApp. I need it on all my machines.
All right. And also, I know you've been using Brave, so we can talk a little
Yes.
browser stuff, and you've been using that for a while. I was on Vivaldi for a long time, but just this week I decided to transition because Vivaldi seemed to be slowing down quite a bit, and there were a lot of non-functioning major sites like Instagram for whatever reason, and some people in our Discord also said that Vivaldi seemed a lot slower than it had been, so it was time for me to switch. I didn't want to go to Brave because I hate that they bake in crypto.
You can turn that off, by the way, in about
I know you
3
can,
seconds.
but still, it's annoying. I decided to, and besides, for the show, I should use a different browser. I decided to go to China and get Opera.
So you went back in time because you used to use Opera.
I did. I used Opera a long time ago before I switched over to Vivaldi. So so far, it's a lot faster. The built-in ad blocking caused some issues with a number of sites, as well as not blocking 100% of the ads. So I disabled that and installed uBlock as an extension, which solved the problem. And so far, so good. Until today, when we decided to record and the program that we use, Riverside, did not load in Opera. It told me it's not only in Chrome-based browsers. And I was like, this is a Chrome-based browser. I don't know why I did it like Shatner.
I'm going to pimp for Brave here because their built-in ad blocker works fantastic. It's got a speed reader mode, which lets you just, cut everything out and just read the copy. It's really good. So I'm still on the side of Brave,
Right.
even though I don't like the creator, Brendan Eich. He can go suck a bag of dicks. But the browser, it's decent. And it works with Riverside because I'm on it right now.
Yeah. I got Vivaldi open for that.
The Dark Side. Ha! With Dave.
Welcome to The Dark Side with Dave. Podcast superhost Dave Bittner decodes all things cyber on the Cyberwire every single day. Exposes deception with Joe Kerrigan on hacking humans, dives deep into privacy with Ben Yellen on Caveat, breaks down industrial cybersecurity on Control Loop, and even brings the laughs on Only Malware in the Building. I had to get that last line
Good
out.
save.
Laugh.
Good save.
Laughs.
A little Jerry Lewis there.
Yeah.
Ladies.
Hey, kid, drink us some laughs. Come on over here. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Happy day, Dave. How's things over in the land of DC area ish?
Well, look.
Flaming
Here we are.
Teslas driving
I mean,
by.
it's
Starlink
all
satellites falling out of the sky.
right. We're all in this together, and we are physically close to a lot of the nonsense that's going on, and so
the line coming out of the unemployment office reached your door yet?
Yes, that's exactly the point. Here in Maryland, we are particularly vulnerable to all of the government layoffs. And it's funny because a friend of mine who I have not touched base with lately, but years ago we had a conversation about this, and he can justifiably have an "I told you so" moment with me, because years ago we were talking about employment and the state of Maryland, and he was saying that Maryland is much too dependent on federal employment. And what happens if the government decides to stop having all these government employees? And my response was, like, that's going to happen. Come on, the government's going to not have so many federal employees. Well, here we are. And sadly, for so many people around here, it's come to pass, and it is happening. And so it is affecting people I know and people around us. And there's all these cascading effects, of course, with real estate. And I was just reading how we're likely going to have a really down tourism season this summer because people from other countries aren't going to come here.
I can 100% testify to that. I know a bunch of people here in Canada that had planned trips to the U.S. and are no longer taking them.
Well, wasn't a government official came out yesterday from Canada saying don't go to the U.S.?
That's right. The UK, I believe Germany, and I believe France have all put out notices, not saying don't go to the United States, but more, be sure you know what you may be getting yourself into if you do go to the United States, because even folks from our allied countries are being locked up by border folks or turned around and sent home. I saw just a few minutes ago, there was some, I can't remember the name of the band, but it was like a punk rock band that was coming over from the UK.
Mm-hmm. So I saw that as well. Yeah.
Someone you're familiar with?
Yeah, I do. Actually, I know the band that I can't remember the name of it offhand, but I saw that the other day and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, they got turned around.
It's not just personal travel. It's not just family vacations. It's bands. Like a lot of bands aren't going to tour the U.S. They don't want to deal with it, and it's professional travel. I read an article the other day about all kinds of professors all over Europe that aren't going to come to conferences that are held in the U.S. because they're worried. So
right. And then the reverse of that is we're going to have a lot of brain drain here because so many of our scientists are going to go overseas, and places like France are actively courting them and saying, we have research money. Please come to us. It reminds me, not unlike how many very talented German scientists we had here in the U.S. after World War II, fleeing the Nazis.
After working for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once the rockets are up, who cares where they come down? It's not my department, says Werner von Braun.
That's right.
Operation Paperclip.
So it's a lot. Let me just say that. It's a lot. And
it's a lot that weighs on you, right? Yeah.
Right. And it just part of my job is to wade through a lot of this stuff and try to make sense of it and try to help explain it for people. It's interesting to me how we have gotten more complaints than usual of people, longtime listeners saying, I wish you guys would stay out of politics.
Stay in your lane. Yeah, we get that.
Stay in our lane.
But how many people have told you to watch Severance?
I was reading through the show notes on that, and I don't know what you guys have set yourselves up for, but it sounds like I don't know.
Dave, we simply said we don't want to watch the show. That's it.
Okay.
Well, it's been
I thought season 1 was boring, and now season 2 came out. I'm like, I'm going to skip it. I didn't really care for season 1 that much. And it's just like, oh my God.
You fool. Yeah.
I can no longer trust anything you say.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
Right. So for us with the coverage, obviously there's a lot going on that is in our lane. And I think the point is that for so long, cybersecurity was sort of apolitical, or at least had bipartisan support. And now all of this other nonsense in DC and other places, they have veered into our lane. And so we don't have any choice but to cover it. I would love to not cover it, but we're stuck in that situation where, particularly, if someone is an avid follower of the current president and his administration, anything you say is stating facts is controversial. So it's tough. I
feel like we particularly this show, we weeded that out the first administration.
Yeah, the first administration,
got it out
we
of
lost
your
half
system.
our audience, and that was about it.
Yeah.
If you're still listening, you're on our team.
Well, until the severance.
Until the severance thing. We lost more listeners over severance than we did Trump, believe it or not.
You're just shaving off the audience that is interested.
That's
in
my goal.
Bit by bit.
That's my goal, Dave.
Shave it off.
I want to get to inbox 0.
Right. Just going to be the three of us. We won't even need to publish anymore. We'll just
save us some money. We'll save some money on bandwidth.
Right. So, it's draining. But no, I know worse for me than for everybody else who's going through all of this sort of chaos. And so we do our best and try to be thankful for the things we have and hug our loved ones for just a little bit longer every day and do what we can to help make things better.
Okay.
So
how's that working out for everybody?
I mean, that's my aspirational statement. It's a good minute by minute of how that actually plays out.
Some days I sit here and I think, what would Dave do? WWDD.
Oh,
that's my new slogan.
Boy. Yeah.
How would Dave approach this? How could I make this sunny side?
Oh man. I don't need that kind of pressure, Brian.
Okay. As he sits there in a stormtrooper helmet and a full furry suit. Yeah.
No.
This is how I'm getting through the day.
Sitting in a stormtrooper helmet and a furry suit in an empty bathtub, rocking back and forth, crying. That's what I'm doing.
Whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah. All right, let's switch gears, shall we?
Okay.
Let's do it.
I saw this device come by, and it's called the Seneca, and it is a extreme high-end keyboard. And by extreme high-end, so it's a computer keyboard. $3,600. Pretty much as handmade as something like this could be. And this is one of those clicky mechanical type keyboards that, there are clicky keyboard enthusiasts. People who love their clicky keyboards.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious what you all had experience with. For me, when I think of clicky keyboards, I think of the Apple Extended Keyboard 2, which is a sort of a classic keyboard for a long time on Planet Macintosh.
I think of the IBM original keyboard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Function keys down the left.
Yeah. I think
I hate clicky keyboards. I want my keyboard silent. If I had this, I'd spray it with WD-40 every 5 seconds.
You put it in a cone of silence.
Yeah. I had two thoughts about this. At first, it's insanely expensive, and it's only going to be like the jagoffs running social media companies that are going to buy these things. But it reminds me of like when I used to go.
Hang on. I got to say, the first thing I thought of is I'm going to go to Kevin Rose's house and he's going to have one of these.
Totally. So. He's totally going to have one of these.
Yep.
Absolutely. It does remind me of the heyday of malls in my 20s when I would walk around with like my girlfriend or whatever, and you'd pass the shop that had one bag and one pair of shoes. And you just know, okay, that's going to be insanely expensive. And on the website itself, it's not a buy button. It says, learn about buying.
Huh. So they have to vet you? You have to fill out a credit application? Or
apparently.
There's a multi-stage interview process.
I'm thinking they only build them if you order them.
Right.
I don't know what the deal is here, but when
you click on that, it goes to offering details. This is the first public offering of the Seneca. Each unit will include a special nameplate with serial number out of 100. The offering opens on 24 March at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time.
Echo, set a reminder.
The components of each Seneca are machined and molded to order in small batches as part of fixed offering batch such as this one. Okay, learned right on your Seneca. Each board is then individually assembled right here in California according to the requested client specifications. Okay, I didn't know you get specifications. Oh, you get different finishes.
Oh, there's a wood riser.
Plasma ceramic and titanium finishes. Ooh, oxide gray, travertine, heat shield, and veracity titanium. Yeah.
So it starts at $3,600.
Yes. You can, there's a wood riser that you can get instead of a little plastic thing that does the job pretty well on all my other keyboards. Retro keycaps made in Germany. I can see this, like, if I were working on a movie, some retro movie, I would definitely order a bunch of these keyboards and have a massive budget. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody has a budget for that anymore.
No.
So they would be going to Goodwill and finding the old IBM keyboards and spray painting them. That's probably what they do.
I don't see a USB option.
No.
And there's no Bluetooth built into this, I don't think. So you're going to have
But you see the beautiful cable that comes out of it? I'm sure that cable probably costs like, $800.
That's an Apple caliber cable.
That really is.
It's $100 at least.
It's got grommets and bushings and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So, Brian, you were saying you don't like clicky keyboards.
Nope.
And I liked clicky keyboards when they were the standard premium keyboards that came with our computers. Mm-hmm. But recently I went back and tried a clicky keyboard and it was awful. Like it was the thing that struck me about a clicky keyboard was how slow it was. Because the travel is so long and there's so much
exactly
more.
It.
Yeah, there's so much more effort. And I can appreciate the aesthetics of it, the feedback and the sound and all that sort of thing. There's something nostalgic about that. But these keyboards we have today with these super shallow keys and minimal travel, they're just so much more efficient than the clicky keyboards were, in my experience.
You know what we need to do? We need to EV our current keyboards. Little sound recording every time you press a key should play.
Oh, there you go.
You could do that.
Brian, I would like to point out here, the gentle sound of the Seneca is often likened to raindrops. It has a soft, intentionally vintage-sounding thwack without being obtrusively clacky.
Okay. So this brings me to my next question. Are clicky keyboard enthusiasts their own version of audiophiles?
In that they're incredibly annoying, then yes.
Well, I mean, the joke about audiophiles, like an audiophile is a person who has more money than sense, right?
You have not heard this music until you've listened to it on its original vinyl pressing with my $7,000 diamond head needle and my amplify system from Bone and Gnome.
Oxygen-free cables, yes.
Yeah, sounds great in my AirPods.
Well, and I think I heard something about audiophiles recently. Let me see if I can get it right here. They said that most people use their stereo equipment to listen to your music, and audiophiles use your music to listen to their stereo equipment.
Yeah.
And I think that's right.
Yes. I think the clicky keyboard people can be categorized in the same group as the pen enthusiasts.
Oh, okay.
There are podcasts about pen enthusiasm there as well.
Right. And so people really like premium watches.
Yep.
So that's like I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't have it's not for me, but I don't have a problem with people who enjoy the best of something. And I would say, this keyboard is certainly trying to be that. It doesn't strike me that this keyboard is snake oil, in that it does seem to be extraordinarily well made. Who knows? But
theoretically, because we still haven't seen one and we'll never see one.
Right.
This is one of those things, I think, like the audiophile thing, the watches, the pens, this keyboard. This is God's way of telling you you're making too much money.
Yes.
Yeah.
And have too much time on your hands.
And you need to get a life. If you're spending $3,600 on a keyboard, I think maybe donate some to charity. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sell that Cybertruck you've got. And
oh no! This is a totally different design aesthetic, Brian. The Cybertruck aesthetic is not. I get this design aesthetic. I get the people who would get this. This is for Johnny Ive, the wannabe Johnny Ives. Like
he built his own. But
that's true. We're actually using Johnny Ive's keyboard now on our Macs.
That's
So,
true.
And even Johnny says clicky keyboards suck. So maybe go with Johnny. But,
Right.
yeah.
It's for people who fancy themselves Johnny Ive disciples.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Look,
Yeah.
I get a Porsche. I do. I really do. But if you think you're going to get laid from this keyboard, you're not.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yes. And I do not see a blowjob port on it. So definitely not worth the money.
Blowjob port. That's extra money.
That's part of the add-ons that you have to.
Yeah. I mean, at those prices, what? If you request
that's the old joke about the vacuum cleaner, the incredibly expensive vacuum cleaner. It better fucking blow me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the Seneca, and it's just got a fleshlight duct tape to the bottom of it.
But it's premium quality, meant to evoke the real blowjob.
That's right.
Yes. They use artisanal duct tape.
Artisanal blowjobs.
So anyway,
yes.
my changing gears. A combination of something that happened in my life yesterday and something we talked about on the most recent episode of Hacking Humans. My son Scott has a dog, and the dog's name is Griswold. And Griswold is
Good name.
Yeah, Griswold is a pit bull mix. He's mostly pit bull, and he's got one of those kind of like tiger stripe coats. You know what I mean? He's very, very, very pretty dog. He's got a big head, kind of like Bammer's was. It's like it's like bone and muscle. It's I call his head a meatball because it's just this solid thing, and he's adorable, he's lovable, he's a sweetheart, and just goes around the house knocking things over with his tail because he's also kind of clueless.
Yeah, that coat, by the way, is called a brindle.
Brindle, yes, thank you. Yeah, so he's a really good dog, and he's probably about 5 years old or so. So anyway, he stopped eating a few days ago, and my son took him to the vet, and they did some examinations and some X-rays, and turns out he had a blockage in his intestines, which means he probably ate something. Who knows? So now. They had to go in and do emergency surgery.
Well, you're not getting that keyboard anytime soon.
Nope. That's usually that surgery usually costs you about a Seneca and a half.
So, of course, we went ahead with the. So let's back up a second. If you guys were to guess, what does emergency surgery to remove a blockage in a large dog's intestines, what's the going rate for?
It's got to be around $5,000.
I was going to say it's a Seneca and a half, $5,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
More.
Higher. Whoever's closest without
7,
going over wins. Higher.
Oh no way! $10,000.
$10,000. Yep.
Wow.
10
Wow,
grand.
it's doubled since the last time That's
three Senecas,
robbery.
man.
That's 3 Senecas, yeah. That's really, really high because I know somebody that had that done 2 years ago, and it was 5, and with a really nice Beverly Hills vet.
Yeah.
So
I know a veterinarian that needed a Seneca.
That's right. Yes, it is. It is high, and
but can you put a cost on your?
Well, that is. Yes, that is both funny but also true.
Yes.
Yep.
So, and I just want to say, I don't have $10,000 just sitting around. I'm in a position where my wife and I are in a position where we can juggle things around and make adjustments and put ourselves in a situation to be able to make this happen. It's not.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of situation, and we're happy to do it because the dog is a family member and all of that good stuff, which is truly good stuff. But what this brings me to is we were talking about on Hacking Humans this week. There was a story about scams and people scamming Google Maps, like business locations on Google Maps. And the scammers were targeting what they call duress verticals. This was a new term for me.
I think that was the band that didn't come to the States.
Duress Verticals. Yeah. Either that or it's a window treatment store. Look them to Duress Verticals. But duress verticals are basically the things that you're in a position of duress, and so you are not going to be shopping around for them. So emergency vets, tow trucks, funeral directors. Yeah. Like all these kinds of things.
High-end keyboards.
Right. I can't type on this. So anyway, it was a new term of art for me, and I was just funny that I found myself in the midst of one. I didn't know if you guys had been familiar with that term.
No. I haven't heard that. I understand it. The other new term we learned at the beginning of the show was AI pimping. So I don't know if. So we've got 2 new terms this week.
There we go. Yeah. Welcome to Vocabulary Today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's what I have today. Thank you, gentlemen. I will see you guys next week. And
thanks, Dave.
Do take care.
Try not to Google how to get 10K real quick.
Yeah, that's right.
Closing shout outs.
Over at Patreon, we've got nobody new, but James. James came through and upped his pledge. So thank you very much, James. And from the archives, we've got Stephen, Vanessa, Brody, Gretter, Michael, Glenn, Kevin, Nolan, Runner 609, and Tony. Thank you all so much for being Patreon subscribers. And just as a reminder, you can become one too for as little as $3 a month. And if you sign up for the whole year, you can get a discount. But you can pay more than $3, which most people do. But you get the show early, ad-free, and in high definition.
All right. Over at PayPal, we've got Nathaniel, Linda, Joseph, Andrew, Sloan, and Tom. Thank you all.
Woohoo! Over at the tip jar, we've got Sean, Tony, and Ross. And in the merch bin this week, Morgan. Morgan picked up some fine merchandise from shop.gog.show.
Thank you. Until next time, I'm Brian Schulmeister.
And I'm Jason DeFilippo. Thanks for listening to Grumpy Old Geeks. Get all the links and goodies from today's episode at gog.show/689. Want to keep the grumpiness alive? Toss a few bucks our way at gog.show/donate. Every penny helps keep the show on the air. Love the show? Well, share it. There's a share button in your podcast player. Use it to spread the grumpiness to friends, foes, and everyone in between, and we'll love you for it. Swing by gog.show to join our Discord and chat with us and other show fans. Got thoughts, feedbacks, cool links? Hit us up at gog.show/contact. And hey, don't forget to leave a 5-star review at gog.show/review, and we'll read it on the air. Oh, and guess what? We've got merch. Snag your grumpy gear now at shop.gog.show. Stay grumpy.
And do not write us about Severance 2's last episode.